Hi everyone. In this video I am going to discuss about limiting factor analysis for a multi-product company with one scarce resource. Before we get into the session, please make sure to click the subscribe button if you want to watch more videos on accounting and management accounting lectures. Now let's get into the session. Now this question is all about limiting factor analysis. Now let's go through the question. Electrocar Private Limited ECPL produces two types of electric cars, namely commercial cars, which is known as CC, industrial cars, which is known as IC. Both types of cars are produced using the same material, machinery and labor force. So there are two types of cars are manufactured here. Two machines, welding machines and painting machines, are used in the production. There are two types of machines are used, welding as well as painting. The available machine time per machine 300 hours per month. So each machine has 300 hours. Per unit selling prices and standard cost information for both products are given below. So you are given the selling prices and standard cost information for commercial cars and industrial cars. The selling price per unit 50,000 for commercial cars and 200,000 for industrial cars. Material costs 13,000 per unit for CC and 80,000 for IC. Labor cost is 10,000 and 50,000. And also the minimum production per month. So 500 units and 450 units. Expected demand per month in units are given 800 and 2500. So these are the expected demand for CC and IC. Fixed production cost for a typical month was 25 million. So you are given the fixed production cost as well. Machine time utilization per unit for each product was as follows. So you are given the machine time utilization. This is very important as far as the machine hour availability is concerned. The machine utilization is a very key point. So there are two types of machines, welding machines and painting machines. So CC, commercial car, requires 2 minutes for welding machines. IC requires 5 minutes. Painting machine requires, CC requires 9 minutes of painting machines and IC requires 25 minutes of painting machines. Now what is required? Required to identify the bottleneck resource for machines. So we need to identify out of these two machine hours, what will be the bottleneck? What will be the limiting factor? This is what we need to identify. So what is the limiting resource? This is what we need to identify. Assess the optimal product mix. So after identifying the limiting resource, the bottleneck, based on that you need to identify the optimal product mix or the production plan. How you gonna produce these cars in order to maximize the profit. Okay, so based on the traditional limiting factor approach. Now in order to evaluate this, so what you need to do is you need to follow certain steps. The first step is to calculate the contribution per unit. So let's calculate the contribution per unit. So you have CC and IC. Take the selling price. So how much is the selling price? 50,000 and 200,000. So we'll take 50 and 200 for the calculation purpose. Material cost. So we need to deduct the material cost. 13 and this one is 80. IC will be 80. And you are given the labor cost. How much is the labor cost? 10,000 and 50,000. So 50,000. So what will be the contribution per unit? 27. So this one is 70. Now we have calculated the contribution per unit. Commercial car will be 27 and industrial car will be 70,000, 27,000 and 70,000 per unit. Now what is the second step? Second step is to calculate available machine hours. Now how do you identify that? So you are given in the second para the machines, two machines, a welding machine and a painting machine are used in production. The available machine time per machine is 300 hours per month. So how much is that? Welding machine has 300 hours and the other machine is painting machine. Welding machine 300, painting machine 300 per hour. Since the utilization of these machines are given in minutes, so we need to identify the total minutes required under each machines. So this will be 18,000 minutes and 18,000 minutes. Now afterwards what you need to do is you need to find out the bottleneck. Now welding machines, it has 18,000 welding machine hours and painting it has 18,000. Now how much is required to produce these two cars, CC and IC? How many machine hours are required? Now if you take welding machine, now we calculated it has 18,000 and this painting machine also will have 18,000. Now if you can calculate, so welding machine total requirement, so per unit requirement is 2 minutes and IC requires 5 minutes. So if you can identify the expected demand, as you can see expected demand is 800 and 2,500 from IC. So therefore if you can multiply this by the expected demand times the required machine hours, expected demand times required machine hours, you can identify the number of machine hours requirement. If that calculated machine hour is greater than this available machine hours, then there will be a there will be a bottleneck. So let's calculate. So first of all we will take welding machine. So if you take welding machine, there are two products, CC and IC. You need 2 minutes to meet the expected demand of 800. You have an expected demand of 800, so which will be 1600, and here you require 5 minutes. Here you require 5 minutes times 2500. So what is the total requirement? 12,500. So total requirement here is how much? 14,100. 14,100. So likewise, painting machine. How many minutes are required? 9 minutes for CC and 25 minutes for IC. So 9 minutes for CC and 25 minutes for IC. So 9 minutes equals 7,200 plus 62,500. So what is the total requirement? 69,700. So as you can see, welding machine requirement is 14,100. So which is sufficient to meet the production requirement of CC and IC, because welding machine has 18,000 minutes. So this is greater than 14,100. So there is no limiting factor, there is no bottleneck as far as welding machine is concerned. Whereas painting machine is concerned, the available machine hours 18,000, but this is less than the requirement of 69,700. So therefore there is a bottleneck as far as painting machine is concerned. Now we will move on to the next step. Calculate the contribution per limiting factor. So what is the limiting factor here? Painting machine. So take the contribution per unit for CC and IC. So we calculated the contribution per unit 27 and 70. So what is the limiting factor here? Painting machine. How many minutes are required? 9 minutes and 25 minutes. So here 9 minutes, here 25 minutes. Now calculate contribution per limiting factor. So 27 divided by 9 will be 3 and 70 divided by 25 will be 2.8. So this will be the contribution per limiting factor. So as far as CC is concerned, CC is producing more value than IC. The contribution per limiting factor is greater as far as CC is concerned than IC. So therefore the next step is you need to rank the product. So when you rank the product, so since CC has the highest contribution, so we need to produce CC first and IC we need to produce based on the remaining capacity we need to produce IC. Now let's prepare the production plan. So as per the ranking, CC has to be produced first. How much is the requirement? Demand is 800. 800 has to be produced first because it gives a higher contribution. So 800 has to be produced first, and which requires 9 minutes to produce. So which is 7,200. Now you have the total 18,000. So what is the remaining machine hours? 10,800. So this will be used for producing industrial cars. So 10,800 to produce one car, how many minutes required? 25 minutes. So therefore simply you divide this by 25 minutes. So you can calculate the production of 432 units. So basically what you need to do is you need to produce 800 units from CC and 430 units from IC. So now based on this we can calculate the expected profit. Now the bottleneck resource is the first question. So this one we have already answered. The second part is we need to identify the optimal product mix. That also we calculated now. The expected profit. So what will be the expected profit? So expected profit will be CC. We are producing 800. So what is the contribution per unit? Contribution per unit is 27. And IC, we're going to produce 432 times, what is the contribution? 70. So when you take the total of these, this will be 21,600, which means 21,600,000, and this will be 30,240,000. So total will be 840, 151, 840. So this will be the total contribution. Total contribution. Less we have a fixed cost. So we have a fixed cost of how much? Fixed cost is 25 million. So let's remove that 25 million. So it will be 846, 26,840,000. So this will be the total profit. So this is the answer for these two questions. I hope this is very clear to you, and I will see you soon with another question. And thanks for watching, and bye for now.